Okay, are we ready for a night dive?
Hell yeah.
That guy certainly wasn't, I don't think. Didn't go well for him. Gex engine, powering many a remaster of a boomer shooter.
During the time of the pharaohs, the city of Karnak was a shining example of civilization that all other nations could only hope to emulate. Today, Karnak lives on, surrounded by the spirits of the past. However, something has gone terribly wrong. Unknown forces have seized the city, and great turmoil is spreading into neighboring lands. World leaders from all parts of the globe have sent forces into the Karnak Valley, but none have returned. The great power of this new empire is quickly crushing the best forces the human world has to offer. The only known information about this crisis came from a Karnak villager found wandering through the desert miles from his home, dazed, dehydrated, and close to death. In his final moments among the living, the villager told horrifying stories of fierce alien creatures that invaded the city, devoured the women and children, and made slaves of the men. Many of the unfortunate victims were skinned alive or brutally dismembered. Others were subjected to unbearable tortures, injected with strange substances, and then mummified while still alive. According to the villager, even the mummified body of the great King Ramses was unearthed and taken away. You have been chosen from a group of the best operatives in the world to infiltrate Karnak and destroy the threatening forces. But as your helicopter nears the Karnak Valley, it is shot down. You barely escape with your life. With no possible contact to the outside world, you begin your adventure, ready to accomplish your mission, praying to return alive.
Despite the Terminator theme stings there in the intro, this is not Terminator Resistance, this is PowerSlave Exhumed.
I was about to say, those Terminator, beats were really, throwing me off.
And we have some buff dogs here to greet us in the title screen. Now that is actually a face cam, that is what we look like. That is me on the left, DM, and that is Chaos Argate on the right. We
Hello.
look exactly like that.
I mean, bark?
Right. Anyway, yeah, PowerSlave Exhumed is the Night Dive Studios conversion, I guess. Remaster, I'm not sure what you really call it because most of the code is actually new.
Remake?
But yeah, it is a new version of PowerSlave on the Saturn and PlayStation, originally developed by Lobotomy Software in 1996. It was known as Exhumed in Europe, and in Japan as, hold on, Seireki Senkyu Hakukyuju Kyunen Pharaoh no Fukkatsu, or 1999 AD, The Resurrection of the Pharaoh.
Good pronunciation.
Thank you, I have practiced. Yeah, I think we'll just pick normal as our difficulty because that is the closest one to the original on the Saturn. The harder difficulties add more enemies and make them hit harder, which is not particularly what we need at the moment.
Yeah, I'm okay with passing on that kind of thing.
So we start at the Tomb of Ramses, which I assume is supposed to be what is now known as KV-7, which was the tomb that King Ramses II had built for himself during his reign. But because this video game about aliens stealing the mummy of Ramses II is not quite accurate in every way, it probably should be noted that King Ramses II wasn't actually buried here for very long. He was moved to a couple of other tombs due to grave robbing concerns, and eventually ended up in the so-called Royal Cache, from where he eventually ended up in a museum. So, yeah.
I mean, we've got like aliens who have stolen a sarcophagus. I don't know if it's like that big a deal that we're not being historically accurate.
I guess they went to the museum and just grabbed it.
Yeah.
And yeah, here we are introduced to the most basic of enemies. We have the red spiders here, they're called the Turanians. They are just little nuisances. And the blue scorpions were actually added in the PlayStation port of the game because Sony wanted new or changed content for ports from other systems, so that was one of the changes.
I see.
They replaced the red spiders with those guys. Now the PlayStation version is a bit different in general, mainly in terms of the level geometry, because the engine was originally designed for the Saturn. And as a result, the PlayStation maps their geometry has been reduced considerably, and some levels are just completely different.
Safe to assume this is based off of the Saturn version then?
For the most part, yeah. It does take some elements from the PlayStation, but the map data is mostly the maps from the Saturn version.
Gotcha.
Also, we see a mural there of Nefertari, who was one of King Ramses II's wives.
Ah. What?
Yeah, go ahead.
How do I put this? I'm trying to think about how I want to phrase this. Where was the country that this the studio that made this was based out of, like the original?
They were actually based in Redmond, Washington.
Oh,
Is it in Washington? I think it is.
So an American-made Saturn game.
Yeah.
That's something you don't see every day. I mean, definitely not these days, but you know.
Yeah, they also made the ports of Quake and Duke Nukem 3D for the Saturn using this game's engine.
I see.
Welcome, mortal. I am King Ramses. When my body was laid to rest here, my name was not forgotten, and my spirit was blessed in the realm of the dead. For centuries I lived in splendid afterlife, among the most powerful gods of the world. Now, my eternal sleep has been broken by a savage race of creatures known as the Kilmat. These beasts have stolen my mummified corpse and are draining the power from it to use as their own. If they succeed, chaos will spread across the earth like a terrible wave of fire, burning all living things in its path. The world as we know it will die a painful death. It is you, Great One, that must do justice for the sake of mankind and shun this evil. Seek out the 6 treasured artifacts that once adorned my tomb, given to me by the most powerful gods of Egypt. They too have been stolen and scattered across the valley, and are highly guarded. These artifacts hold great powers and will help you on your journey. To begin your search, travel to Karnak and cross the high bridge on the east side of the village. Here you will find a great sanctuary that holds the first of the 6 mighty artifacts. If you happen to lose your way on your travels, return to this tomb, and I will give you guidance. Fear not the power of the Kilmat. Instead, embrace the powers of the Egyptian gods. They will help carry you to victory.
Okay, yeah, as the Spirit of Ramses there explained, our mission is to collect 6 artifacts that give us the powers of various Egyptian gods.
Alright, let's do it.
And use those to defeat the Kilmat, the evil aliens. Also, here's the exit. It's a camo.
Hello.
And those sound effects are the same ones used in Doom for the various monsters. I think that was the death noise of the shotgun guy.
That's really funny.
Yeah, there's just stock camel sounds. And yeah, on this map screen we can move from level to level. At this point we can only go to the tomb as well as Karnak here. Because we are still kind of in the tutorial. But eventually we'll be able to just explore the map as we please. Now, what I should probably explain at this point is these orbs here. The blue orbs are ammo. And each of your weapons has its own blue bar there in the HUD. So you have to switch to whichever weapon you want to replenish when you collect these orbs.
Oh, like weapon energy pickups in Mega Man.
Yeah, sure. And here's our first Anubis zombie. He's basically an imp from Doom. He walks around and throws these fireballs we can strafe to dodge, and if we get close he will try to swipe at us with his big old manimal paws. I think he actually just has regular human hands, so I'm not sure how that works, but never mind. That over there is a full ammo pickup, and that will replenish all of our ammo for all our weapons. But we can't reach it at the moment, so we'll have to find some other way to get up there. Oh, I got bit by a spider. I will have the powers of a spider.
Either that or you are gonna have a really itchy bump on your arm.
Yeah, that's probably more likely.
Gotta say, I was really disappointed the one time I got bit by a spider, and that's all I ended up with. An itch on my arm.
Well, that sucks. Now, before we head to where we actually supposed to go, let's open this door and have a look at the Ankh there on the other side of this window. That is a health Ankh. That works like an energy tank in Metroid.
Okay.
It adds an extra health bar. And that is a checkpoint, which did not exist in the original Saturn and PlayStation version.
Oh, they're being kind in the remake.
Yeah, sorry?
They're being kind to us in the remake.
Yeah, you can turn those off if you're some kind of masochist.
Yeah, no one's got time for that these days.
Yeah, here I was kinda trying to figure out if I should even open this little nook here with the switch. Because all that has is a full health, which we didn't really need. And there's some water, but... Well, first of all, we can't get to the water from here because we are too hench to fit through those gaps. And also, we can't really swim at this point.
Gotta get the holy snorkel first.
Yeah. Also sounded like there was a party going on behind that door, so we'll come back later. This here can actually be kinda hard to parse as a door. I know on my first playthrough I kinda had to wander around for quite a bit until I realized that was a door.
Yeah, it just doesn't read cleanly as a door.
Yeah, and imagine it on the Saturn with the 240p resolution and the grimy visuals. Which I do kinda appreciate. I really like how the Saturn version looks, but it can be a little bit tough to parse at times. And speaking of tough, we can't jump this ledge. We need some way to get up there. So this is another dead end for us at the moment. And I think you're starting to get an idea what this game is actually like.
Yeah. This is a very strong demonstration of, I think, what is going to be our gameplay loop.
Yeah, this has often been called a proto-Metroid Prime. And that is quite apt, I would say. Come on, you can fit through that. Our boy has such massive bulging muscles that he can't fit through anything.
I'm just gonna imagine it's the whole viewpoint, or like how big the screen is, determines how wide he is.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he couldn't fit through that on the Saturn either, so at least it hasn't really changed. Although I think they did adjust the sort of the bounding box in a patch, because I think it was too wide at launch. I mean, we did see him in the intro and in the loading screen. He was pretty hench in that as well. So very 90s comics.
So the fact that there's a crosshair means that we're actually like, we can actually aim vertically, right? It's not just like hit scan for your general direction, like Doom.
Yeah, there is fairly generous auto aim, or rather the hitboxes on the enemies are really generous, but yeah, starting with the PlayStation version, the auto aim wasn't quite like Doom level as it was on the Saturn.
Okay.
Which honestly made the PlayStation version a bit more annoying to play, because there's a lot of these little guys that you need to fight. And flying enemies as well, which are about to be introduced here. Got some birds. But yeah, here we just kinda aim in the general direction of the enemy sprite, and it will usually hit them, so it's still not too bad. Because, you know, we have, like, proper modern mouse or right-stick controls.
Right. Oh, I didn't even realize, or, like, it just didn't click with me that, like, this was made for a console where you had one analog stick at most.
Yeah, this actually does support the Saturn analog controller, which I do have. And that actually plays really well. But it is still a 90s FPS with one analog stick, so...
I'm like having a hard time trying to imagine what the controls on that must be like.
Honestly, they're not too bad, because the game isn't really like designed for precise aiming. It's more like exploration and platforming, which we also have quite a lot of.
Okay.
Which can be quite difficult.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out like what you'd use for the camera.
Well, you can like hold a button and then move the D-pad or the analog stick depending on the controller you're using.
Oh, I see.
To look up and down. It's inverted, of course, with no way to change it.
I mean, that was just the style at the time.
It sure was.
And I assume the same holds true for the PlayStation version?
Yeah. I'm not as familiar with that one, but yeah, that's how that works.
Okay.
Also, that doesn't have support for any kind of analog controller because the PlayStation port came out before the PlayStation analog controllers.
That's disappointing.
The DualShock, of course, and before it was the Dual Analog, which came out in '97, but I think this predates it.
The one that had like concave analog sticks, I think?
Yeah, I haven't actually used that at any point. Also, yeah, that platform there we jumped on, that fell down. We could have gone into the alcove to get the full health, but we didn't need it.
Do those health onks recover your HP too when you pick them up, or?
Health onks do fully recover your health.
Oh, nice.
But we are not going to be finding one until the next video. There's 5 health onks in total, and some of them are fairly well hidden, I guess. But yeah, we of course just normally replenish our health from the red orbs that the enemies drop, and the occasional full health pickup. Oh, hello. Always forget this guy's in here. Yeah, this is kind of a combination of like a Doom clone of the 90s and a sort of Metroid Prime type thing. Now, the creative side of the studio, Lobotomy Software, actually did come from Nintendo of America, so there's a bit of Nintendo DNA here, I suppose.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's sealed. That is also sealed, so there's a switch somewhere, I think. I say I think, I know there's a switch, I have played this already. That guy was just like that. Hey, let me out!
No.
Also, when I first played this, I thought this switch just looked like some kind of paintings with a switch hidden in them, but it's obviously a mechanical switch. I'm not sure why I thought that. I must have had like adventure game brain, Resident Evil brain.
I mean, yeah, I also would have assumed like, oh yeah, it's just you just pull the picture down and it's like, oh yeah, that's just a lever.
Yeah. I mean, especially on the Saturn, it can be a bit hard to tell.
I'm gonna just say that, or blame the fact that it's a 2D texture more than anything.
Yeah, speaking of 2D textures, if you play this on the Switch 2 currently, there's a bug with the back compat that, well, makes all the sprites flicker out of existence, which makes the game slightly challenging to play, if I'm honest.
Only slightly, though.
Now, this is obviously the PC version. No such problems here. And with that, we have our first artifact, the Sandals of Exhumed. I don't think Exhumed was an actual guy. I couldn't find anything about him that was not related to this game, unless he went by a different name.
I also don't believe that sandals would enhance your jumping ability.
Well, check this out.
I mean, that they clearly do, but like, just practicality speaking, I don't think sandals would do that.
Yeah, probably not.
Especially flip-flops.
You have found one of the 6 sacred artifacts, and your worth as a sturdy slave has been proven to the Council of the Gods. The mighty sandals of Exhumed give you the strength to leap higher than mortal humans. Use this gift to scale the cliffs in the northwest corner of Karnak. Beyond the cliffs is a steep path that leads to a shrine in the mountains. The artifact hidden in this shrine is a gift from Sobek, god of amphibious creatures.
And yeah, whenever we pick up an artifact, Ramses will tell us, kind of give us a hint where to go next.